Hello, this lesson is going to be domain and range from graphs. Okay, this is going to be a continuation from the previous lesson that we dealt with domain and range. So let's start with problem number 2, which is very similar to what we've done before, where we have a continuous graph and we ask to find the domain and range. Because it's a continuous line, basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to have an interval like we see over here. I'm going to have a beginning and an end. In order to find the beginning and end, we need to use a vertical line. So let's use this vertical line right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to move from left to right until we touch the line. And as we see, when we touch the line, the x value is -8. So we're going to come over here and we're going to write -8 as my beginning value. Okay, now because this is a solid point, I'm going to include the dash right there. Also, to find the other end of the interval, I'm going to move the line from left to right. And as I move from left to right, I'm paying attention where do I last touch the line, and I last touch the line right there at x equals 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to my interval and I'm going to write 2 right there. And since this is a solid line, I'm going to put a dash right there. Okay, make a little bit better. There we go. Okay, now we're going to do the y. In order to do the y, we need a horizontal line. So let's switch this line right here and we flip it to the vertical. There we go. And now that we have it vertical, we're going to move from bottom up. So as we move from bottom up, the first place we touch is right here, and that means my y is -4. So I'm going to come over here to my interval. I'm going to write -4. Okay. And because this is a solid point, I'm going to make a dash right there. Okay, and as I continue moving the line up, from bottom up, the last place to me to touch the line is right there, which would be +1. So I'm going to come over here and I'll write +1, and I'll put a dash because I have a solid point right there. Okay, so why don't you let's take a moment and try the next, on the next page, try this next problem here. Okay, we're going to skip 5 and 7 right now, and we're just going to do number 6 right now. Okay. Okay, so let's see what we've done. Okay, we need a vertical line and a horizontal line. So let me draw 2 lines right here. One is horizontal, and let me draw another one. Another one is vertical. All right. So to find my domain, when I need to move my vertical line, and the first place I touch is -3. So I'm going to write right there -3. And because it's an empty point, I'm going to not put the dash right there. And as I continue to move the line from left to right, the last place I touch is F5. So let's go ahead and write the interval. Okay. Alright, and since it's an empty circle, I don't put the dash right there. Okay, so basically that's my interval, -3 and 5. Okay, now we're ready to do the range. A range goes from bottom up. So let's move my line from bottom up. The first place I touch is right there, and my y value is -2. So we're going to come over here, I'm going to write -2, and since it's an empty circle, we leave it no dash there. And as I continue moving up, the last place I touch is at 2, and since it's an empty circle, I leave it without the dash. Okay, please remember the dash only goes if you have a solid point. Alright, So very good. This is very similar to what we did before. Now, let's look at the new stuff. The new stuff is these guys right here. Because these guys don't have two endpoints. They have only one endpoint or one starting point, and they have this arrow right here. What does this arrow mean? This arrow means that this graph is going to go forever. So if I had space here, this line would be going like forever all the way down. Okay? Okay? So that's what it means. It goes forever. If I had more space, it would go forever. Same thing here. It goes forever if I had more space. Alright, so in this case, this would be a special case where you're not going to have a beginning and an end. You're just going to have a beginning. Because if you notice, it's like an arrow. It begins here and goes forever. So, here's the deal. We need to find our beginning point. Our beginning point, and we're going to need a horizontal line and a vertical line. So let's make the lines right here so we have them. So here's my vertical line, and let me make a better horizontal line right there. Good. Alright, so this is what we're going to do. Okay, we are going to move the line from left to right, and the first point I touch is at -3. So that's my starting point. So I'm going to write -3. Now, on the horizontal, as you notice, the line is going to go forever on this direction, right? So that means my arrow is going to point that direction. Okay? Also, my starting point, is it solid or empty? Well, as you can see, the point is solid. So that means we're going to have a dash right there. So I'm going to put a dash. So what this basically means is that the domain starts at 3 and goes forever to infinity. Okay? Now let's do the range. Okay? Where is my where is my starting point as I go up and down? Okay, or from bottom up. Where's my starting point? My starting point is right there. My starting point is number 2. So let's go over here and write number 2. Okay, now remember, if I go up, that means I'm going to the positive direction. If I go down, I'm going to the negative direction. Right? Now, how would I represent here? This is going down the negative direction. Okay, as you can see, it's going down, so it's going down to the negative direction. So how would I represent that? Would I represent going to the left or going to the right? Okay, remember, going to the left means going to the negative side, going to the right, positive side. As we can see on the vertical here, the line is going down towards the negative direction. So that means we're going to indicate that by drawing the inequality sign going less than. And because this is a solid point, the starting point is a solid point, we put the dash. Okay? So that concludes then the domain and range for this special graph. Alright, let's try another one. Okay, let's move our arrows right here. So we're ready to tackle this problem. Okay, and let's start out with the domain. Domain is on the horizontal. And since you have an arrow, that means you can only have a starting point. So where is my starting point? Okay, my starting point is right there. What is my x value there? My x value there is 5. So let's write my starting point is f5. And on the horizontal, what direction is the arrow going? Well, the arrow is going to the left. So that means we're going to mimic that inequality sign to show that we're going to the left. And because the starting point is an empty circle, we are not going to put a dash right there. Okay? Alright, so now let's continue. Okay, and then now let's do the range. Remember, from bottom up, where is my starting point? Where is the line starting at? In this case, the line starting right there. What is the y value there? The y value there is -2. So we're going to write -2 right there. And since the line is going up towards the positive direction, we represent that going to the right, because to the right means going to the positive. And because the starting point is an empty circle, we're not going to do the dash right there. Okay? Alright, so let's do the following. Take a moment and try problem number 5 and 7, following these two examples that we did. Okay, let's see what you got. Okay, let's use our arrows here. So on number 5, where does my domain start? Where is my starting point on this line? My starting point is at -6. So let's write -6. In what direction is my line heading? My line is heading to the right, so it would be to the right. And it will be no dash because it's an empty circle. Alright, so let's move this here. And let's bring now the horizontal line. And now we're going to find the starting point. So where is, excuse me, sometimes it's tricky here to grab that. There we go. Okay, where is my starting point on this line? Okay, my starting point is right there, which would be -3. So we're going to write -3. And because the line is going up towards the positive direction, that means we're going to go to the right. And there will be no dash because it's an empty circle. Alright, let's do the last one. So let's move our horizontal line over here. And where is my starting point? My starting point is at -7. So let's write that down, -7. And what direction am I going? I'm going to the right. So it will be this way. And because I have a solid point, it will be a solid point like that. And for the y, so then let's use the horizontal line. Sorry about that. There we go. The horizontal line. So where is my starting point as I go from bottom up? Okay, my starting point is right there, which would be a 9. So I'm going to write number 9 right there. And because I'm going down, that means I'm going to go to the negative direction, so I'm going to the left. And because it's a solid point, I'm going to use a dash underneath. Okay, so these are my answers for these problems. Alright, now let's go back then and tackle problem number 4 now. Okay, the graph of the function y equals square root of 25 minus x squared is shown on the coordinate grid below. What is the domain of the function? Okay, remember domain, we were using the horizontal line. Okay. Alright, and we're going from left to right, so my first beginning point is at -6. Okay, I'm sorry, -5. And it is a solid point, so that means I'm going to have a dash. And my last place will be at 5, positive 5. So what is my right answer? Letter H. Okay. Alright, let's go try the next problem. Okay. Problem number 8. Okay, problem number 8, the key word here is range. As you can see, range deals with y values. So that means the x goes away. And this one goes away because it deals with x. Okay, so basically the question is which one is the right answer? Now, as you can see, both answers are the same except for the little dash underneath. And as we can look at the graph, At 0, there is a point there, so that means I would have the dash. So my answer it would be G. Same thing occur with the 100 there. I have solid point right there, so that means I will also have the dash. So the right answer is letter G. Okay. Alright, with these ideas in mind, I want you to do the next assignment. Okay, for the next assignments, I would like you to do some changes. Okay, I would like you to put an arrow right there. I also would like you to put an arrow right here. I apologize, I should have made the changes before I made the copies, but I couldn't. So here are my changes. Okay, and so we're going to do those like so. Okay, and I think we're gonna go up right here. Okay, all right, very good. So go ahead and work on these problems, and also on the back side. The back side has some multiple choice questions like the state test. All right, thank you very much for your time, and have a great day.